Oracle Envoys, monstrous band of musicians who employed sacred arts. It is said when Oracle Envoys appear playing their pipes, they do so to herald the arrival of a new god or age. Well, they are talking about me because I'm about to come. There are 3 different variants of these guys, but the only thing that separates each one of them is their weapons, and their sizes as well. All of their weapons have bubbles as their unique weapon skill, and today I'm gonna beat the whole game using their weapon skill. Now, I have ranked every bubbles last time, and honestly this is just my run from my previous video and I don't want to throw it away just yet, so I turned them into a single video. Anyway, hey, like and subscribe if you like content like this. Alright, let's begin by collecting all the necessities. It's straight up impossible to get the weapons at early game since you have to at least enter Lindell to encounter these guys. This time I'm actually farming them in the Helix tree instead, using my old save files. I am cosplaying as the Oracle Envoy and I need their clothing. However, Envoy's crown wasn't just an ornament. It increases bubble damage by 15%. After that, I collected every weapons by committing mass murder. Because it is required for me to starting off a new game plus, I respect my character, put it all into faith and then start the game. This will be simple and straightforward as my main focus was only the boss fights. But I'm testing those weapons against some area bosses beforehand and all of them works quite well. But the real test wasn't on paper, but it should be practical like fighting a real boss like Margit. Now first of all, this is easy because I got more than 80 faith already, but what I want to focus here is how the weapon skill works against him. Margit is a good contender to test out those weapon skills because I tried using all the 3 weapons. Give them all a pass on Margit because they deal a good amount of damage, but in practical, it's a bit hard to not get hit when casting, especially using greathorn and longhorn. His recovery speed is fast, and so I have to match his timing and range. Looking for opening isn't necessarily the best method, but instead, shooting from distance is more doable in this case. Oh, I almost forgot. My talisman for this run consists of 4 of the same ones. Ritual Sword Talisman to boost damage, Warrior Jar Shard because I'm too lazy to finish Alexander Quest, 2-Finger Heirloom to boost faith, and the last one, either Carrion Filgrit or the Green Turtle Talisman, but actually I don't quite need both since I have enough FP and stamina for now. Anyway, the same usual way of doing this. Of course the next boss is Godrick. And of course everything is doable against him. But I want to point out that we don't have to look for a specific opening. You can cast a skill from further distance and he will dodge like 50% of the time. However, the roll means nothing because these bubbles will follow him wherever he goes. Well, except the bubble shower, but you can still pull it off pretty easily. Now, second phase doesn't really change anything and you can still do the same thing as in first phase. Even if you blew the dragon flame, you still got time to move away. Quite easy, I would say. That's the first great rune, and the second or probably the third is with Radahn and Rennala. Well, it is once in the blue moon moment where I fought both of them. Let's talk about Radahn first. I really want to say that maintaining distance like Margit and Godrick works against him as well, however, that's not the case. Bubble Shower and Great Oracular Bubble really took some time to cast, and Radahn is faster than he looks. But the tiny regular horn actually works like a charm against him. To cast the skill I have to get off the high horse and cast the skill when I'm a bit far from him, but not too far. There's a specific opening for Radahn that I could feel a little comfortable to spam the bubbles under his crotch. but that's the only safe spot. Second phase, you might want to be aware of his gravity pulls, but since the bubble needs to be cast in distance, it should be easier to avoid those gravity magic. Radahn is quite challenging, but it's not challenging enough for me to rage and destroy my keyboard, or my dignity. Let's move to Raya Lucaria. I remember Moongrum being an ass most of the time, but not this time. I'm giving him the golden shower. Literally. But anyway, let's get into the thing. Rennala. You can shoot her under links with a single bubble from the horn, but I was too lazy to cast, so I'm just hitting them regularly. It won't change anything at the end of the day. Second phase is much more easier with the greathorn. With enough FP, it's very easy to sunlock her to death. Alright, so a lot of people like the Envoy's longhorn. Now, this is the time to show you guys what this weapon is capable of against the tree sentinel. But something like this can only be done on certain enemies, and range and timing also perfectly calculated. Bro, I talk like a pro or something, but it's just because I have a lot of faith. Entering Lindell now, and if you want to farm these weapons, well, you can now. But I already have everything, so I'll go straight to Godfrey. So this is where the challenge appears. Just a little bit. Godfrey has both long and short range moves, so he can kill me if I do this the wrong way. Now all weapons works on him, but I like the Great Horn more for this specific fight because a single big bubble will almost always hit him. Godfrey has the tendencies of charging towards me as soon as I cast the skill. However, his range is limited, so I could just cast it a bit longer so the ground storm won't hit me. It wasn't much of a challenge, but it's still raising a difficulty bar a little bit. But the bar will increase even more at this point because Margit's true self, Morgott, will be the next contender in this run. Now, the good thing with Morgott is, all weapon skills are quite effective against him. But the regular horn works better, as it can be casted almost every time as long as I stayed a bit far from him. Now, for other weapons, I need to find a specific opening which I find a bit difficult. There is this one opening that I can confidently cast, but he almost never does that in this run, so I'll just rock with the Envoy's horn instead. Now, patience is the key here, which I hated, but compared to other bosses I fought earlier, Morgott will definitely dodge the bubble. To prevent him of doing that, it's actually very easy. Just stay a bit far before casting, or you can actually cast on certain opening as well. But I think one bubble at a time is the best way to do this. I cannot be too reckless because he could shoot me with those daggers. Second phase, almost the same method for me, but all his blood flame attacks are openings now. It's a good thing. There is this one move that caught me off guard, but thank God I'm still alive. Now the rest is just a matter of patience. Believe me when I say I want to use the longhorn more often. This weapon is my favorite out of the three, but it's not very applicable towards some bosses. But worry not, this weapon works really well against Fire Giant. Maybe in first phase if I want to, but I use regular horn instead because it is much easier to hit him with more mobility on my side. The bubble works just fine without any issues, but second phase, It is better to pull out the longhorn, but I'm still ignorant in this run and use the horn instead. See, the thing that I'm concerned lays on the recovery speed. The regular horn has relatively fast casting speed, and I can cast while in motion as well. Very convenient. However, if I prefer more damage in general, then I'll be switching with the longhorn. I know it's only a brief moment of usage, but that moment is totally worth it. Alright, so right now if you want to get the Alexander shard, you can, by completing his quest, but I'm just too lazy to do that. So the first boss in this horrid area is Godskin Duo, and yes, it is still hard, but hold on, hear me out. They are much easier to take down using rage speciality skill like these weapons. As usual, if you want to be safe, then go with the horn, but if you want to sacrifice mobility in exchange of damage output, then pick the longhorn or the greathorn. I prefer the longhorn though. It's not only affected the noble but the apostle as well. He can dodge to wherever he wants. The bubble shower will still hit him. You just cannot avoid the golden shower, man. Still, the main issues with these guys is just they like to sneak in some attacks, especially on second phase. It is best to kill the fat one and turn a blind eye on the skinny, but entering second phase, at the end of the day, you still have to be aware of both of them. It's been a couple minutes and I haven't talked about the difficulty spikes around these bosses. But Maliketh is one of the hardest one in this run. I'm a bit conflicted about how this weapon works against him. And yes, the Envoy's horn is the best on him, but you still have to cast on his openings. Longhorn and Greathorn might work if I create a good distance beforehand. However, Maliketh is faster than the other bosses before. He will actively close the distance after he does an action, so my window is super tight. Phase 2 is almost impossible for Longhorn and Greathorn, but it is working really well with the horn. Destined Death is always the opening, like I already said a million times. The only downside is the damage output. Otherwise, it's totally doable. You just have to be patient. Also guys, quick note here, my PC broke down after the bubble ranking video, and some of the footage got corrupted. The corrupted ones are Maliketh, Godfrey, Radagon, Malenia, and Red Wolf. The good news is, I bought a new PC and I managed to salvage some of the footages by cloud drive. But the bad news is, Maliketh isn't one of them. Okay, so I feel like I haven't fully used the Great Horn to the fullest, but only a few enemies is compatible with this weapon, and Gideon is one of them. There's just a huge benefit of slow velocity projectile landed on his face like a birthday cake. You can miss the shot sometimes, but perfect timing can prevent that from happening. So the original Godfrey fight got corrupted, but luckily I have my other save file right in front of his arena. This is, I think, New Game Plus 2? A bit more of a challenge, but I've done this once. I can just do it again since Godfrey isn't really that hard. Well, actually he is that hard, but it's still manageable. So I tried using all these 3 weapons available, but I can say the Envoy's horn might be the easiest one to pull. I'm not satisfied with the damage, so I'm using the greathorn instead for phase 1. He has the same movesets as a golden Godfrey before, with some new hyper steroids addition once you hit that 1.5 phase. It's just a phase now. But yeah, there are a few mechanic holes in his movesets that we can take advantage of, like the overhead slams for example, but it has to be done in a certain range or else you're gonna be dead. Second phase, however, the same method cannot be implemented. He is being hyper aggressive, just like after drinking G Fuel and starting the Rainbow Six rank match. Alright, so there is no other way to do this rather than using the Envoy's horn. If I said Maliketh was fast, then Godfrey is faster. So even with the horn, I have to find a specific opening to cast his skill. But honestly, that's the only thing I can do. One bubble at a time, better safe than sorry. And the only key in this fight is running. We are reaching the peak of difficulty here. Final boss, Radagon and Elden Beast has 80 holy negations. Bro, that's gonna halt my progression. Even with 80 faith, that didn't deal any significant damage to Radagon. And honestly speaking, Longhorn and the Greathorn are basically useless in this fight. You can actually use them if you want to, but please, let me know if you're successfully land those bubbles without getting hit, because I failed to do so. His recovery time is undoubtedly fast, but at least Envoy's horn capable to outspeed him on certain openings. Now the only way to pull a successful hit is to stay close to him, because having slow velocity is detrimental this time. He can and will definitely parry those bubbles like Sekiro if you were a bit far from him. So, I want to make sure every bubble hits. Now we gotta be patient because that single bubble only deals a tiny tickle bit of damage, but it is the best weapon I have. Slowly chipping his health away and we good to go. Not really. So Elden Beast is next, and you can easily take it down with the bubble shower. However, if I died, I have to do everything from the start again. So let's just avoid dying here. With Elden Beast, we got the benefit of striking voice damage with the longhorn, but of course, pull a perfect golden shower needs to be done in perfect timing. Elden Beast is huge, but he's not the slowest sentient being out there, so precision, timing, range are very important. But at the end of the day, Elden Beast was much easier than Radagon. Okay, so after writing the script, I managed to salvage some of the videos previously recorded. The first one is Mimic Tier, that got completely obliterated by the greathorn. And next one is Red Wolf. I'm actually glad this one got recovered, because I think Red Wolf is quite hard, especially when I want to utilize the greathorn, but I kill him with the longhorn instead. Looking for opening is kinda hard, but what makes it hard is only because he's fast. I also didn't forget my whole journey to the Helic Tree. Nile was personally difficult for me. I mean, not his fights, but more when I have to get rid of his banished knights. Now, multitasking isn't my forte and I need something fast, so Envoy's Horn definitely the right tool for them. Maybe others can do the job as well, but not as safe as this one. Nile, on the other hand, easy. No complicated move, just baiting him to use the same move over and over again, just like Maliketh. I use Longhorn so I can have better vision with high damage, because the Greathorn, yes, it is useful, but it will block my vision a little bit. I don't like it. Honestly, I kind of forgot I didn't fight the Spectral Loretta, but I fought the real her instead. I remember I was so eager to try these bubbles against Malenia, so I was only using the Envoy's Horn because I need to take down Loretta fast. Now, it is actually not that fast though. I did it a couple times, and Loretta was agile, so it wasn't a smooth fight, as she tends to dodge the bubbles. I think my key point here is to cast when he also casts the Green Blade, but I have faster recovery speed though, so I always have time to dodge. She sometimes moves directly to the bubble as well, and that's a win for me. Overall, the fight wasn't that hard, but not the easiest as well. Alright, as much as I want to show you guys how I took down Malenia, I can't. I'm actually a bit pissed because she took a long while to beat, man, and I don't want to do it again. But I do have some video fragments of them, and maybe as you can see, Envoy's Horn didn't work quite well this time. You can hit her once or twice, but for a long-term battle, it would be very hard. But Great Horn surprisingly works quite well against her. But I have to run very far, just like you ran away from your abusive father. Second phase, I have to go the hard way on using Envoy's Horn, because she turned aggressive. The bubble might have a bigger chance to hit her, but it's still quite hard to pull. Now I just keep doing the same thing and dodge everything for the next 10 minutes, but the footage isn't here, so let's just assume I failed this one, and yeah, I don't care. But in exchange, guys, I'll show you something cool. Never in my life, I took down Placidusax with a huge satisfaction in my stomach. Not the easiest kill, but what I have to do is find a good spot right before the second lightning strikes. Yeah, that's it. The rest is just the same as usual. Stay on his tail and you'll be good. Alright, that's all guys. I hope you are entertained and learned something new. If not, that's also fine, but make sure to give that like and sub though. Special thanks to channel members, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.